Everybody, Chris Frew here with BioBuzz for another episode of What's the Buzz, where we talk to ecosystem builders all across the markets that we cover. But today we are in our HQ, our place of origin here in Maryland, talking to one of my favorite ecosystem builders there is, Tammi Thomas, who is Chief Development and Marketing Officer at TEDCO. Welcome, Tammi.
Thank you, Chris. It's always fabulous time being with you.
Likewise.
Even if it's virtual.
Likewise. I feel like there's too much virtual these days, but what we're talking about today is an opportunity where probably 1,000 or so of us are all going to get together in person. So we'll be able to rectify that pretty soon.
Okay.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you. Tammi, you and I have known each other for almost a decade. And again, I mean that wholeheartedly. You're one of my favorite ecosystem builders that's out there. And, not to make you blush or anything, I'm just saying that, like, there's people that build the ecosystem, and there's people that build the ecosystem. And I think you're definitely one of the latter. So why don't we get started here? Let me just do a little housekeeping for everybody. So our What's Buzz is our bi-monthly podcast. This week, because of everything going on, we're doing it twice a week. So it's really picking up, where we talk about the ecosystem builders and leaders that are building the innovation ecosystems that you as an entrepreneur or a business owner or a job seeker need to know about, so that you can help support your organization and what resources are around you to help you grow and thrive. BioBuzz, as you know, is an ecosystem support platform. We care really about two main things. One is building community and ecosystem, and the other thing is talent and hiring. So I think they go hand in hand, and that's what we focus on each and every day. With all the housekeeping out of the way, Tammi, let's get into business.
I'm ready, Chris.
So first of all, if we always have some new people joining in, tell us a little bit about what is TEDCO, and maybe kind of give us a picture of like TEDCO's role in Maryland's ecosystem.
Okay, thank you for that. I think I'll start with TEDCO's elevator pitch. Basically, we've been here for 26 years, and our mission is to help to identify, invest in, and grow technology and life science startup companies in Maryland.
That's a good mission. I'm sure there's a lot of people tuning in going, check, that's me right here.
Right. You need investments, where you go to. If you need business resources to help you scale, it's like what they say in the Ghostbusters, who are you going to call? TEDCO.
TEDCO. I love that. So that's
It froze. Chris, you still there?
I'm back.
Okay, great. You froze for me.
Yeah, you froze for me too.
Okay.
All right. We'll see what the audience had to say about that. Hopefully we weren't both frozen. But what I was saying, you can't help with technical difficulties these days. It's what happens when you're virtual. But you support across the Maryland ecosystem. So what is really great about an organization like TEDCO is, yes, you provide funding and you provide resources, but you do it with this lens that really so you have rural programs and urban programs, and you really do, and I think wholeheartedly in your organization, approach this with an equity perspective of looking at, hey, entrepreneurs are coming from everywhere. Let's make sure we have resources for, like, if you live in Maryland, like, we want a resource for you.
Indeed. If we don't have the resources, we partner with stakeholders who do. So we'll make introductions for the companies that are located in Maryland that need help with growing. For example, if it's a company that we've invested in, technology or a life science company, and they're trying to have a global footprint, we'll connect them with our sister organization, the Maryland Department of Commerce, to help them with their international growth. So while we might not have all of the resources in-house, we will find them out-house to help you scale and grow.
Yeah, so I know I've heard this term before. So it's you're not only funding and providing support services, but you're like an innovation intermediary.
Okay.
The
that
ask,
was.
yeah, like the Ask Jeeves of how to grow your business successfully in Maryland.
Totally. And it's like, it's just even for our life science companies that are um, scaling at a really fast pace, but they might not have an HR department. We'll connect them with organizations like BioBuzz to help them identify the right talent to scale and grow here in Maryland.
Yeah, that's great, and we really appreciate that. And at BioBuzz, we love supporting early stage companies with growth. And
Maryland is
I'm
the
excited.
place to be. If you are a life science company and you are not growing your startup and you're not in the state of Maryland, you need to think about moving here. Because not only is it a fabulous place to grow your business, it's a phenomenal place for you to grow your family. Great,
Absolutely.
great school systems, wonderful Four Seasons that give you access to amazing entertainment. You can ski in Maryland. You can whitewater raft in Maryland. You can go to high-end museums. Uh, you have a football team, a baseball team. It's just it's an amazing place.
I love it.
But I
And that's
digress, Chris. Go
no,
ahead. I'm
that's no,
sorry.
you don't digress at all. That's really critical, right? Because when we're building the ecosystem, when we're building startup infrastructure, you gotta enjoy. I mean, you and I were
Right. It's
talking.
quality of life. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
you
And
and I
that's
were
what
talking beforehand, right? Like, how busy are you these days? And
Oh
how,
my God. Look, Chris and I were talking about it. We hardly get any sleep. It's been so busy because there's so many companies here and the ecosystem is so robust. There's always something to do. Like it's so many events to go to, so many networking activities for you to be in the right room with folks that can help you to grow your company. We're wore out. Like it's just amazing. I think yesterday I had 4 different events to go to. Um, in 2 different type of industry specific, and one was geographic specific to the state of Maryland. In each one of these events, there are powerhouse entities that were there that had resources for companies to grow, whether it was angel investors, family officers, institutional investors like TEDCO, business resources with economic development folks that are there to help people with tax credits, with other type of business resources to grow their companies. And not only that, we're having fun while we're doing it. So if you're looking at me now, it looks like I have some wrinkles and stuff. I'm just tired because I've had too much fun while we're building this ecosystem. Like we need more people to come over here and help us to help these companies grow because it's like we can't be at all of these places at one time. It's like just too much great stuff happening. We need some help.
amen to that. I mean, I'm here at City Garage Science and Tech Park in Baltimore City, and I see a different company touring the place every day, every week. Like there's new startups in med tech and life sciences
Yes.
that are coming through. And to your point, we need the help. But here in Maryland. We're close to the FDA, federal labs. We've got Johns Hopkins, University of Maryland, Morgan State, Coppin State, Howard. We're close to the DC and the DMV and
You have
Georgetown
NSA, you
University.
have Aberdeen Proving Ground, you got NASA, you have NIH, and it is just it's phenomenal the amount of resources you have. And the beautiful part about it is that Maryland geographically is a small state. So you can get around the state to get access to these resources like in a few hours. You can be in Southern Maryland at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can be up in Harford County like just a few hours later, meeting with all the resources that you need, like manufacturing resources. They're here in Maryland. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely. And you guys are located pretty centrally, right in Howard County. But I
Yes.
know your team is all over the
We're
place.
statewide. So we
Yeah.
have people throughout the state. We have them in different pockets of the region where we have we have people physically located there to help companies grow. We support the Incubator Association that's here that's phenomenal, like the accelerators, the universities. Most of them have some type of entrepreneurship center for research institutions: Johns Hopkins, Morgan State, University of Maryland, Baltimore, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and University of Maryland, College Park. So it's 5. It's just the amount of tech transfer coming out of those institutions is jaw-dropping, and each one of them have incubators at their institutions to help these companies grow, other support resources. In fact, the state of Maryland, we have what's called the University System in Maryland Momentum Fund. So if you are a entrepreneur and you're wanting to bring the technology out of one of these research institutions, the University System of Maryland has funds available to invest in your startup, because you're working with either the faculty that are out of these institutions or the IP that's coming out of these institutions. It's just, this is Maryland is a magical place to start and grow your company. Life
Absolutely.
science
And
technology.
I'll throw something else out there, and I know, is the military. I mean, we got Henry Jackson Foundation right down Bethesda, Walter Reed Army Institute of Research right here,
Yes.
Fort Detrick, Fort Meade. I mean, we've got Aberdeen, like you said. So like not only the universities, but there's military tech and government tech that's all coming out. And that's a compliment that a lot of states and regions don't really kind of have, in addition to that kind of university pipeline. So yeah, so I completely agree. And I was just talking to the folks at ScienceWorks on Monday, and they do a lot with the federal government tech transfer. And so again, it's like the resources are plenty around here.
And when you say the federal, it's like, it's one of those where you want entrepreneurs to understand the resources that the federal have. If a lot of times you can have access to non-dilutive funds, and non-dilutive funds is like grant money. You're not paying this back. So most of them have some kind of SBIR or STTR program. Well, TEDCO even has a proposal lab to help you write your SBIR and STTR grant proposals. So if you're like, for phase one for SBIR grant is $256,000. Like, that's almost $300,000 non-dilutive funds that you're not paying back. That's helping you to take your idea to the commercialization stage. I mean, it's just phenomenal. How many states can you have those type of resources that help you be more successful in your proposal submittal for non-dilutive funds?
Mm-hmm. Well, we travel around a lot. We're in Philadelphia a lot, North Carolina, and I do hear people talk about Maryland. And one of the things they talk about is community and how important that is.
Yeah.
And I think that all these things we're talking about, what the glue that brings them all together, and the roads and the pipes that help people get there, is that community. And just in a couple of weeks, the roads and pipes are leading us to the TEDCO Expo. And I'm gonna have to say, I was looking at the lineup of speakers and panels, and I said this to you earlier, you and your team have nailed it out of the park. I mean, you hit on every kind of button that, as a startup, that you care about, and it's cyber, and it's life sciences, and it's advanced manufacturing, commercial product. It's you're even kicking it off with a keynote with the Federal Reserve, and who today does not really wake up every day going like, what's happening with our money policy? Like, so can you talk to us a little bit, like what's all gone into that? Like, what, from your team perspective, what are the themes and things that you all was important to you to build into this year? Because this is the first year in a while since COVID we've had the expo.
Yes, thank you for that, Chris. Yes, so TEDCO's Entrepreneur Expo is a one-day event that is all about the entrepreneur. That's the primary audience. And it's, how do we provide a one-day extravaganza that not only celebrates them, but gives them the tools to continue to scale their companies. So what we have in that day is 2 keynote sessions, the morning and the lunch. In between is 20 concurrent sessions that has content that helps these companies grow, but also helps them have access to the resources that helps them to grow. For example, one track is concentrated on federal programs to help them get access to not only the non-dilutive funds for like the SBR, STTR pieces, but also procurement. You need to be able to know how to go after federal contracts for your startups. Another track, leading innovation to market, focuses on the access to capital on the equity side. So you'll hear from CEOs who have raised money from angels, family officers, and institutional entities like TEDCO. How did they go about doing that? The challenges, the roadblocks, and how they were successful. And not only will they be talking about how they access the funds, but the funders will also be on these sessions. So you'll hear from angel investors, family office fund managers, and institutional investors in how to approach them. And because it's different. People don't realize even if you're going after funds from angel investors, they're not all the same. Family offices, they're not all the same. So they're going to talk to you a little bit about how can you approach these investment arms. We will have economic development people that will be talking on these sessions to explain the resources that they have to help these companies grow. But not only that, the entrepreneurs will have access to these folks to connect with, so that they have a person to help them grow their business. One beautiful thing about the expo, I give a little hack. We do not create a green room for our speakers, even our VIP speakers. So they are always in the midst of the people that attend. So, and we ask them that after they're speaking, for them to be available for people to come up to them and get access to them to get help. So when we're talking about this is the best place for you to come to network, we're serious about that. So even our keynote speakers, we have them engaged with all participants, all attendees at the network, at the Entrepreneur Expo. And at the end, we have what we call fireside chats, and that's around 4:00. And these are specific thought leaders to help still raise the conversation about supporting entrepreneurs in Maryland. And then from 5 to 7:00 is the reception and the exhibit hall. So that's where you come to have some fun. Let's just say it's open bar, high hors d'oeuvres, a lot of partying. So it's a party with a purpose. While you finish connecting with the 86 exhibitors that are there for the sole purpose of helping companies grow and providing information about their entities. So you'll have startup companies that will be exhibiting there, as well as funding agencies and other business resource providers at the exhibit hall from 5 to 7.
That's a lot. That's like, but again, it goes back to, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner, the one day a year, you can access and get answers to probably the 36 questions. I mean, I know I'm an entrepreneur, and every day I wake up and I got another dozen questions I got to answer, or problems I got to solve. So the one day of the year coming up, December 4th, is a day you can get all those resources jam-packed into one place.
Yeah, we have a few other resources there for the companies. Like we have a media room set up where we're be interviewing them with video, so they'll have access to free content afterwards that they can use to help promote their companies. We have free professional headshots for all attendees. We have I can't even remember. It's a lot. Again, please forgive me, folks. Give me some grace and mercy. I have had a little bit of sleep.
I'm just glad you could join us today, Tammi. I still use the headshot from 2019, I think it was.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I had more hair then, so I hold on to that.
And mine is just the opposite. I have more hair now than 2019.
Yeah. But no joke, I still have it. Yeah, so those are like, that's the icing on the cake there, and yeah, the reception too. I mean, you're in and I can tell you from the past years that I've been, you're there with funders, you're there with potential strategic partners, and again, I know a couple stories of people that met at the expo that again did end up coming and partnering together, because as entrepreneurs we're head down, right? You're often head down, and you pick your head up and you race towards solving that problem, and you go back to head down. That's kind of the other benefit of what you're creating, something that Troy talks about a lot, right? These purposeful collisions. You're bringing these
Yes.
bodies closer together. So as a startup, when you could have buyers there,
Right.
right? Like, buyers are going to be there, potential collaborators there. So it really is it's fertile ground, I would call it.
For
Maybe a good way.
everything.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like, even for your economic development entities, look at them as potential clients, not just don't look at them as just there for them to help you to grow your business with resources. Most oftentimes, entrepreneurs that are building something, their product or their service can be bought by the uh, county entities, the city entities, the state entity. Like, it's just, so you expand your mindset of being in a room, not just about raising money,
Yeah.
but we want you to think about making money.
And I'll tell you, when you're making money, it's easier to raise money.
This is true.
Yeah.
And when you're in the rooms like this, like you said, Chris, you're going to meet other companies that you can partner with to go after bigger contracts, or you might find a manufacturer that can help you expedite building your product, and you can build your product locally instead of having to have a manufacturer overseas. So
Absolutely.
for all of those companies that are out of state, this is a great place for you to come, the expo, because many of these investors, they invest outside of Maryland too. So it's good for you to come here, and you might have companies that you want to partner, Maryland-based companies you can partner with for you to be more competitive, not only in the United States, but globally. Like, these are phenomenal companies here. Like, go and look on the website. On the website, we list the agenda that has the speakers. It lists the exhibitors. So there might be some companies that you're looking to partner with that you don't know how to connect with them. Come to the expo. It's nothing replaces building a relationship in person. You can do it virtually, but it's something magical and special about connecting with somebody one-on-one. Like, I'm having fun having this conversation with Chris, but I prefer when he and I can do happy hour in person.
Absolutely. Which we'll definitely be doing in a couple of weeks, because you're
Definitely.
going to be ready for it after a long day. And I remember when you Expo, like, you're lucky if you get a sentence out of Tam, because you are like the captain of the ship, just making stuff happen. And
I'm a worker bee behind the scenes, folks.
Yeah.
Worker bee behind the scenes. But I'll tell you, my team, my phenomenal team, Cassie, Rachel, Dejana, Lauren, Brittany, they're the ones that they are the secret sauce to TEDCO. They're making all of this happen, and I work for them, and we all work for Troy, which Chris mentioned. That's our CEO. We hope that he will stay on script at the expo, but no promises on that one either.
Either way, it's always good. Well, a couple other things that I wanted to bring up that I saw in here. A couple of things that because I want to give people some, reasons to go check out the website, some additional regions. Not like we haven't just poured it all on them, but one thing that I saw was interesting. So there's a new program called the Bridge program that TEDCO is rolling out.
Yes, that's $10 million, and that one is a partnership with other states. TEDCO is leading it, but it's funding for a funding opportunity for companies even outside of Maryland for them to take advantage of. Won't provide any more information on the interview today, because we want you to come to the expo to find out how you can get access, how you can submit for funding from that program. That's $10 million. We also have the Cyber Maryland session that will talk about funding that's available with that program. We had the Concept Capital. It is a new funding initiative that's being rolled out from TEDCO. We will unveil it there at the expo, with a few companies already pitching to receive up to $125,000. But it's being unveiled at the expo, but this will be funding that will be available after the expo as well. But you should come so you can find out how you can get access to this funding.
Absolutely. And I also saw that there's a HBCU student pitch competition.
Oh, yes. So it will be quite a few students pitching, and I think that it's spanning across 6 universities that are out of Maryland, DC, and Virginia.
That's awesome. Like I said, you're hitting every button, Tammi. You and your team that you just talked about really kind of really pulled together something amazing here. So I hope everybody that's listening is planning to attend.
And I want to plug one more, the lunch panel, keynote panel. That's with Maryland Secretary of Commerce Kevin Anderson, with Medco's CEO Tom Sadowski, and with the Downtown Partnership of Baltimore CEO Shalonda Stokes. Troy will be moderating that panel, and they will be talking about statewide resources as well as regional resources for companies to grow, and how all of these entities are coming together and collaborating to make it happen. So Maryland is I would say unique. I've lived in a lot of states, and I've never seen anything like this, where folks don't work in silos. You call them up and they're trying to figure out a way to work together. You have companies that don't see county lines, for example. They're not wanting counties to be pitched against each other when they need access to resources, because they might have their company on a line of another county, and they're like, okay, we need you county execs to work together to help my company be successful. That's what Maryland is about. We even have a lot of our economic development entities. They get on like monthly calls together and talk about how they can collaborate and work with each other to have all of their companies, stay in the state and grow, even if it means that they got to help another company, help a company that's headquartered in theirs be successful in another county.
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
It really is. It's a true rising tide, and I'm even more encouraged under Governor Moore's vision and leadership for Maryland as well, which I feel like is even pulling that kind of
definitely. It's a one Maryland message. Together. That all we see is Marylanders. Period. Yeah. That's it.
I love it.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing. It's like I like to call it agape love.
That's good. I like agape love. Well, I definitely have that for TEDCO, and I'm might not be drinking the Kool-Aid, but I'm drinking the coffee for you right here. And
it's going to be some cool swag giveaways too.
All right.
So please come and have some fun with us. Party with purpose.
I tell you, it's if people didn't leave today's conversation with us excited about it, I don't know what's going to get them jazzed up, but I know.
Can I get one more plug though, Chris? Yeah, and this is not expo related. I just want to make sure for those that are looking for investments from TEDCO and you have questions, please sign up to attend one of our virtual monthly investment open forums. It's always conducted by one of our investment fund managers. So you get to know the fund manager. You can ask questions about any of the funds that investment funds that we have. I'm hoping that one of my teammates will put in the chat a link to the upcoming investment open forum. But we just want to make sure. Look, it is our job to deploy every cent that we have. We're not trying to hold on to the money. We want to deploy all of it, and we want to make sure that any entrepreneur that should have access to this money, should have this investment, that you're going to get access to it. So please help us help you.
Yeah, it's great. And you have those. So you have the monthly information sessions, and you have Prelude to a Pitch, which is like a coaching session to make sure you're prepared for it, where you get partnered with a mentor, and then you can get the application in. So a lot of VCs are like, send me your pitch deck, and that's all you hear from them. But when you work with TEDCO, there's this like almost like a Sherpa approach where, you know, you have someone helping you with your bags while you're climbing up the hill. And
Definitely.
yeah, so
Also, please know that at TEDCO, the way that you get access to our investments is you have to apply, and it's a blind process. So we don't know who you are when you're applying. So for people that feel like you might not have gotten a fair shake when you were going for funding in other places, just know that you won't get that treatment at TEDCO. So again, like we have resources to help you, as Chris said, get to the point that you can apply to us for the funding. But just know that we're interested in deploying all of our money to all entrepreneurs that are that that are eligible for the money. Okay. And it's statewide. It doesn't matter where you are in Maryland, but you have to be headquartered in Maryland. You'll get more information when you go to our website. It tells you per fund what's the criteria. But again, if you have any questions, just show up to one of our monthly investment open forums. Thanks, Chris.
absolutely. And there's, like I said, I know there's space here at City Garage. Our friends over at Wexford Connect Labs have some space in Baltimore opening up. So there's plenty of place for you. So if you're listening to this and you're from out of state, come down and visit us at the expo. Get to know exactly how amazing this community is. You know, start moving towards your agape love for Maryland yourself, and again, you know, I guarantee you're going to like what you see. And when you do, you know, we'll make sure we partner you with the right place to set up shop so that you can start your journey with TEDCO and the rest of our community.
All right.
Well, thank you, Tammi. I'm stoked to see you in a couple of weeks. I know you got a sprint that you're on until then. So keep strong. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your team. Your team's amazing. I've worked with them for years too, and amazing team that they do. And again, for everybody joining in, a couple closing notes. This is also Baltimore Together Week. So make sure you check out the events coming up. There's going to be a life science event on Thursday here in Baltimore, where you're going to hear about some new resources. You're going to hear about ETC and some new resources they're launching. There's a med tech event at City Garage that night. There's a cell and gene therapy event down at our partners at Children's National Hospital. So
Lolly, yes.
Yeah, so you can't wait until
and already with ETC. So this is just, that's what we're talking about. It's a love fest. We know everybody because Maryland is that tight knit.
Yep, amen to that. So, well, hey, I know you all have a lot of work to do building your businesses, and so does Tammi, and so do I. So thank you for joining this week. We'll be back again in a couple of weeks with our next one. Tammi, as always, such a pleasure, and I'm excited to see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.